Hi guys, so this is the 10th episode of today entry. Don't worry about it. Written by Anna and Brian. Also by Brian Nicole. First question. Why does the author of Mystery want readers to learn about what to do when faced with problems? They can research about things and also invite and also have a friend by your side at all times so both of you can work together to solve the problem. Which is used almost every time. Listener, comprehension, hieroglyphics, imitate, modification, obediently, honestly, quill, sarcophagus, trivially. Chapter 1. To speak the name of the dead is to make them live again, the tour guide whispered ominously. The class got what they thought to be just another stage part of the tour. Throughout the time, he continued, and especially when we entered the burial chamber, he was referred to May as the king or pharaoh. As I understood, group members nodded their agreement as I quickly realized this was not a superstition. I knew the guy had been telling the truth because I had read about it on the internet in preparation for the class trip. Now here we were in Egypt inside an actual pyramid, on the way down to the burial chair to look at an actual mummy. Come along, children, Mrs. Crabwalk's voice rose above the noise, and everyone obediently started to find out the ritual shaft and pairs. Everyone except for Simon. I found him at the back of the room trying to decipher the symbols on the wall. Simon Montier, what would you do without me? I teased. Honestly, sometimes I think you actually want to get left behind. And look, I figured out what this means, Simon said. I glanced back and checked at the progress of the queen. Only half the group had found out the room, so I figured we had a couple of minutes left. I definitely wanted to hear what Simon had found out, but he absolutely did not want to get in trouble with Mrs. Crabwell. He says he had pulled the mummy's brain out through his nose, Simon told me, and then he described the whole mummification process. After all of that, they arrived the mummy and bandages from head to toe and put it in the sarcophagus. The process can preserve the mummies for thousands of years. Wow, that's cool, I exclaimed, just as I saw our last classmate leaving the chamber. Shoot, come on, we need to catch up. When I was on my train, driving toward the door. We waited for Mrs. Cromwell to turn the other way. They successfully slid into the back of the line. The classmates found their way up a wide flight of stairs, down a narrow corridor, and into the next chamber. Some stopped to spray every instant and not the course I passed, so I had to try and back to the line at least 3 times. Finally, we all crowded into a room where the walls were covered with images of the pharaoh in several pots. The guys of the images were part of the nation languages called Egyptian hieroglyphics. The most referred to gather around one of the images. Explained the relationship between the pharaoh and his people and how the pharaoh was connected to the gods. Of course, I knew this story, but it was 100 times more fascinating listening to it while looking at the actual hieroglyphics on the walls and reading that in school. Simon, however, did not find this as interesting as I did and decided to translate his own story. He stayed close enough to the group, so he decided to leave him alone. The guy finished his narrative on the life of the pharaoh and went straight to the back of the room. He paused in the door and called for everyone's attention. Before us is the burial chamber where the mummy of the great king lies. The room went completely silent. The guy had captured everyone's interest in silence. Enter, you dare, he shouted, and then disappeared into the darkness of the burial chamber. Simon and I agreed it was all very theoretical, but pretty cool. We joined the line and walked single file into the tomb. Exclamations of surprise echoed around the chamber as the red sarcophagus came out into our view. This room was much smaller than us, and we all crowded around, smashing elbows to get a closer view of the sky, so the bracelet to reveal the full-size mummy inside. I squeezed my way through the sarcophagus and looked in all the money. I held my spine as long as I could, but it was just too much shoving. I finally managed to squeeze my way out of the tiny packed mass and by him when looking for Simon. Sitting in the corner reading an ancient-looking book filled with hundreds of illustrations. Peter would show up page after page of pictures of pharaohs in boats on journeys to mysterious places. Chapter 2. Where are they going? I asked. They're working on it, said Mama. But I think they're traveling in the underworld. I lifted my shoulder to check on the others and saw they had already left the house. I jumped up in the panic. Everyone's gone, Simon, I shouted. Mom, we were to get in trouble with Mrs. Cromwell. He looked at me impatiently. I stomped over and grabbed his arm. I figured it out, he shouted. The picture released the joy the king meant to him, to some sort of power bonus to the sun god. I dropped his eye and felt a look of horror spread over my face. Simon was immediately apologizing. I'm sorry, Amy. I didn't mean to keep us here for so long. There were millions to scramble. One knows we're gone if we hurry. This is his name, I whispered. His name? Do you mean King Amentorib? Shh, stop saying it. Don't you know that if you speak the name of the dead, they bring the back to life? His eyes widened with comprehension. Oh no, I forgot. He started to her head with the palm of his hand. How could I be so stupid? I read about that and even mentioned it in this book. So I said to forward with the book. It flipped out of his hand and landed with a thud. We both looked at the book lying on the dead flint and the closed sarcophagus in front of us. For an entire minute, we didn't breathe or blink, but nothing happened. I guess it really is just a superstition, I said with a sigh of relief. Chapter 3. That low screaming noise stopped us in front in our tracks. We watched in horror as the mummy slowly opened the lid of the red sarcophagus. This can't be happening. We both squeaked at the same time. I felt as if my feet had gone loose and fastened me to the ground. Oh, we're going to be in so much trouble, I moaned. Simon hurried to pick the book up from the ground. The sarcophagus was now completely open and the mummy slowly said, "Illustrated Simon. Where's Simon?" "Hey, over here," I yelled, distracted in my mind for Simon to grab the book and back away. We turned and ran out the door. The sweat and assistant hid behind one of the pillars at the far end of the next room. Ran was me, so fast I could manage to be. What are we going to do now?" I gasped. "Don't worry, I'll figure it out. Just keep an eye out for the mummy while she's performing it," he said. So I crouched and peeked out from behind the bed, waiting for him to find us. "I think I found something," he whispered. But it was too late. The man had entered the room and was coming downstairs towards us. "Safely, we have to get out of here now," I insisted, yanking Simon up by the back of his collar, pushing him out of the chair into a long, narrow corridor. "I don't think he saw us," I whispered, but I had spoken too soon. The man had entered the corridor and was heading toward us. We made a dash for the next chamber and hid behind another pillar in the back of the room. The student guard kept an eye on the door. So I quickly flipped through the pages and both frantically trying to find the answer. "When there's a page missing from this book," he said with frustration. "This hieroglyphics only talk about what happens during mummification. But I know I see the information we need somewhere." Jennifer, Simon Mom started to pace around the room. I couldn't believe it. If I wasn't in to solve this problem, we were really going to be in trouble. I started to panic. "Why did you have to be staring at those pictures on the wall instead of listening to the guy's warning?" the girl said. "They haven't been paying attention. We won't be in this mess." The shouting at Simon didn't make me feel any better. I was just about to apologize when he jumped up and hugged me. "That's it. The hieroglyph Alex, the ritual shadow. That's your side. Thanks, Amy. That was good thinking. Red had leaving me all alone in the room with the mummy fast lotion. "Wait for me!" I screamed, running after him. So it was already hard to win when I burst into the room. "Quick, Amy, write it down." I swung behind to the Jennifer and pulled out a notebook and pen. Moved rapidly as he did it. Dedicated the words on the wall. I finished in no time. "What's the place, Simon?" I turned my head first one way and then the other, and tried to watch the door and Simon at the same time. Chapter 5. First, we had to move the mummy back into the burial chamber. So I said, "What's this say? We need to recite these words to put it in recklessly." It sounds simple enough, and I was beginning to feel confident when everything will work out. So I'm mad. Hopefully, he crawls back into the sarcophagus before he falls asleep. Otherwise, we'll have to put him in there ourselves. I groaned just as the mummy entered the room. "He's back," I whispered urgently, cramming my notebook into my pocket as I got ready to imitate that play. We waited until the man had descended the stairs before sprinting by him back up the stairs and into the corridor. We drove my shoulders on the mummy coming after us. It worked. He saw us and he's moving much faster. "I guess he's right away now," Simon said. We went down the stairs into the burial chamber and ducked into the annex room off to the left. I pulled the notebook from behind and found a page. We needed to watch as the blink worked and stalked around the chamber, trying to find us. I signaled Simon to begin reading. "King of Kings, Pharaoh of the land, lie back to rest in the burning desert sand." The other side the words were hiding in place. I was close to see everyone was taking effect, but I took a step in our direction. "Quick, read the second verse," I said urgently, and Simon resumed reading. "The red sarcophagus you would kept when you spent 3,000 years in slumber. Return now to the place you slept and travel back to a time of wonder." When Simon rubbed his eyes as he turned and headed toward the sarcophagus, it was working. The mummy climbed back into the sarcophagus and lay back down. We were 4 minutes until we were satisfied. He was asleep, and we tiptoed over and slowly closed the lid. "We did it!" I agreed triumphantly. We gave each other a high five. Then Simon nudged my shoulder and said, "Wake up, Amy." Chapter 6. "Huh?" I rubbed my eyes, looked right, confused. I said, "Wake up, sleepyhead." Jumped up to his. Hey, come on. Looked at the window at the pyramids as the last of my classmates stepped out of the bus. And I made a dream. Of course it was. I laughed, trying to catch up with Simon. Hopefully the real truth didn't involve being chased by a 3,000-year-old mummy.